Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining me once again for one of these Magic the Gathering openings, and this time we're going to have another duel. That's right, we got a couple of books here, just some cool little of the new, more premium version of the I want to call them by their traditional name of Fatback, but I know that that's no longer. It's just bundle that we've got here. So kind of like the previous ones that we've got some packs, we've got some collector packs. There's going to be a die. They've got 20 of the foil basic lands, and we're going to get 2 of 6 promo cards. So we're going to be looking for those. Now, these are going to be the different talismans, or there is going to be this one here, which is the Soul Ring, which is going to be the most desirable one to get. That's the one we're going to be going after. But the big thing about this is that, unlike the other ones that we've seen, this one has 2 collector boosters in it. Not 1, but 2. So maybe it's a little bit possible that we'll have a little bit better means of evening everything out. Because previous ones that we've done of these little duels, we've seen that one usually blows the other out of the water, and traditionally it's been box 1, so maybe we can hope to either have both boxes blow, like just be absolutely amazing, or maybe, I don't know, maybe box 2 will be vastly superior to box 1, but I'm very excited to have these because I think that this Secrets of Strixhaven is an absolutely amazing box. Now, I did very much enjoy Lorwyn Eclipsed, and I think that that's a fantastic one as well. We'll just move these out of the way. But my goodness, I do like the looks of these, boosters bundles here. Very, very nice looking. I love the sheen of it. I read a whole lot, so the book feeling of it is really, really nice. So we are going to be opening these up, seeing how they're going to compare to another. Oh my goodness, yeah, outside of the case there, it looks amazing. I love that deep blue, almost like a cerulean. Oh boy, yeah, so just gonna put these portions, like the book sleeves, out of the way and see what we've got on the inside of these. Okay, so not really magnetic closing, but it's heavy enough that it wants to close in and of itself. As you can probably see, the inner eye here is a little bit of like a holographic, so like depending on where you look, it'll change its positioning on it. But it looks like we've got a little bit of a card in here for all of the like library services there, and I see that the bonus card that we've got is face up, so I'm just going to turn it over so that we don't necessarily see that. But let's see here. So we've got a little bit of an author, Minsley Zarita. We've got different people. Grunge Trubbins. Oh my god. Bjorn Horsenkorn, for non-suspicious reasons. Okay, this is very entertaining. Oh, someone marked this off for the ultimate ritual there, but Cubby Preeps, time travel accident. Okay, yeah. Lauren Horsenkork, or Korn. It looks very close to Bjorn, so it's just interesting to see that. Oh, it looks like there's a whole thing here. I'll have to read this on my own time, but my goodness, they put a whole lot of thought into this one here. I mean, I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to just do that and flip over the bonus card so that we don't necessarily see it. But we've got our die between those, so same exact color, so likely not going to be a different one. But my goodness, this is a very, very nice looking die compared to the normal ones that we end up getting, so we'll enjoy that. We've got our two collector packs, and we've got our lands in here. We've got one of our play boosters. We've got our bonus ones, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more there. So we have our grand total of 6. And same here, we've got our foil lands and our bonus cards and our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it looks like we are going to be getting the same quantity of each type of play booster. Okay. That'll be interesting. I'm just going to set the boxes off to the side so that we'll be able to look at them. And, you know, I'm not going to open up these lands either. You know, they're going to be the normal they're going to be the normal arts. They're not going to be full arts there, but they're all going to be foil, which is really nice. So I'll be able to keep those in case I want to utilize them in a deck for myself. But for the moment, just having them off to the side is going to be good enough. And we're going to save our bonuses to the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and start opening some of these up, seeing what sort of magical, mysterious things that we can find within the secrets here. So let's get right on into it. Now, what are we going to be looking for? I definitely, like last time, still looking for the Emeritus, the blue one, as well as Mathemagics. We're looking for more of the dragons, since I believe that we only got Quandrix. So looking for more of those and just seeing what we kind of got. So first pack of box 1 would have Deluge Virtuoso, 2 and a blue, 2/2 Human Wizard, ETBs, tap target creature and opponent controls, put a stun on it, and Opus. If you cast an instant or sorcery, this gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's not permanent, so I'm not terribly fond of that. Expressive Fire Dancer, very similar, 1 in a red, 2/2 Human Sorcerer. Opus, cast an instant or sorcery, gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, this gains double strike as well. Again, having that Opus on these cards, it's really wasted on them. They don't really do all that much. Follow the Lumerets, 1 in a green, sorcery, infusion. Look at top 4 cards of your library. Reveal a creature or land from among them, put in your hand. If you gain life this turn, you may instead reveal 2 creatures and or lands from among them, put them in your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your library in a random order. Honestly, I think that's a decent one there. If it was an instant, it would be a lot better because you could do it on your opponent's turn. But, you know, they don't want to have it be that good there, but still very, very decent. I mean, lots of ways to gain life in these sorts of formats there. So doing that easily, looking at the top 4, grabbing 2 things that you need, whether it's lands to ramp or creatures because you need something there. And I mean, you cycle through 4 cards. That's pretty good for it. Barag Banemaker, 1 black, 1/1 Frog Warlock, Death Touch, 1 black. This gets +1/+1 until end of turn. The +1/+1 is very negligible. You only need a 1/1 with Death Touch to really keep anybody at bay from attacking in. So kind of meh on that second ability, but it is good. It's 1 black for a 1/1 Death Toucher. Stone Docent, 1 and a white. Spirit Chimera, 1 white. Exile this from your graveyard, gain 2 life. Surveil 1. Activate only a sorcery. It'll help out with the whole lore hold when things leave your graveyard abilities. So, you know, in that sort of sense, it goes in with it, but it's not really doing all that much. For 1 mana, you gain 2 life in your Surveil. There's better ways of getting those sorts of effects. Oh, here's my little elemental bird. Absolutely love that. It's not going to be all that good, but I still like my bird. 1 blue red and a 1 for 1/4 elemental bird, flying vigilance, Opus. You cast an instant or sorcery. This gets +1/+0 until end turn. 5 or more mana spent to cast on it. You get to impulse draw. You know, again, not the most impactful, but I just love the artwork and I love the bird. Mage Tower Referee, 2 for a 2/1 artifact creature construct. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you put a +1/+1 on this. You can get pip pretty quickly if you choose to play a whole bunch of multicolored spells, but it's not really going to be the big thing that you're going to use that for. There's other better things. Environmental Scientist, 1 and a green, 2/2, Human Druid, ETBs. You can search for a basic land, reveal it, put in your hand, then shuffle. A little bit of mana ramp, not worst thing. Startle's Relic Sloth, 2 a red-white, 4/4, Sloth Beast, Trample Lifelink, beginning of combat in your turn, exile up to 1 target creature from a graveyard. Helps out with all of your leave the graveyard triggers there, so that just instinctively does it. But it's from a graveyard, so if it was from your graveyard, maybe not that much, but it is a little bit of a graveyard hate card, so that's interesting enough to potentially run. Transcendent Archaic, okay. An uncommon one, and I really dig the rainbow aura that we got around this. 7 mana for a 6/6 creature avatar with vigilance. Converge when CTBs. You can draw X cards, where X is number of colors and mana spent to cast the spell. If you draw 1 or more cards this way, discard 2 cards. Okay, so it's saying you don't want to do this monocolored, because then you are down 2 cards. You play this one, so that's 1 card from your hand, and you draw 1 card. Then you discard 2. So, you discard 2, you play this, so you're down 3, you draw 1 card, so you're down 2. So it's like, it's definitely you want to play this for 4 or 5 different colors of mana type of card. Very cool artwork there. Probably not going to be the one that's played all that much there. And, okay, another Arc of Hunger. We got this one previously, 2 a red-white, artifact, 1 or more cards. Leave your graveyard. This deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain 1 life. So it's helping out with the life gain. It deals 1 damage to each opponent there. And, you are going in with that whole lore hold strategy. You can also tap this to mill a card, and you may play that card this turn. So you mill a card off the top of your deck there, and it kind of has that impulse draw, except it's into your graveyard. And hey, you're able to bring it out of your graveyard, which helps run this off. And the thing is, because it says play and not cast, you are able to put lands from your graveyard that you mill with this onto the battlefield, which is very, very good. So Arc of Hunger, good one to get. I think we got a second rare here. Ooh, not a second rare, but we've got a one of our mythical archive cards here, Bitter Triumph. We got this one previously as well. So 1 and a black, instant, additional cost to cast it. You discard a card or pay 3 life, destroy target creature or planeswalker. We will certainly take that one there. Thank you. It would be good to get the Japanese ones, or, ones that we haven't gotten before, but, I'll take as many of these as I can. And we're also going to get a foil Killian's Confidence. White and black for a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And you draw a card, so it replaces itself. Very, very nice. We like that. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, you may pay a hybrid white-black. If you do, return this from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Any creature deals combat damage to a player, you can return it. You could help out Lorehold strategies with this. It's a card going from your graveyard out of the graveyard. Gives it a little bit of a bonus, but, consistently replaces itself, which is nice. So we dig that. A little bit of Forum of Amity. This is going to be the Surveil, 1 land for Silverquill there, and we're going to have a little bit of a Fractal Pest. Okay, so got that one done. Decent rare starting off for our first box here. Going into our second box, can this compare? Or is box 2 finally going to show its chops and be better than box 1? Cost of Brilliance, 2 and a black sorcery. Target player draws 2 and loses 2 life. Put a +1/+1 on up to 1 target creature. Alan Historian, 2 and a white. 2/3 bird cleric flying. ETBs, you surveil 1. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Would be better if it was counters, because, hey, temporary stats are not going to be as good. Procrastinate, this has been me for a bit. X and a blue sorcery, tap target creature. You put X stun counters on it there. Keep it preoccupied as long as possible. Zealous Lorecaster, 5 and a red, 4/4, giant sorcerer. When this ETBs, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, it's Lorehold getting the cards out of your graveyard is nice. You're going to be able to cast them again. So it's decent. It's just so expensive there. So that's probably why it's never going to get run. Embrace the Paradox. Okay. 3, a green and a blue. Instant. Draw 3. You can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Okay. So this seems very eerily similar to Growth Spiral. Because, you know, Growth Spiral. Draw a card. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. I don't think it was tapped there, but Growth Spiral, I think, was an uncommon. This one is 3 generic mana more to draw 2 extra cards, which makes sense, but it puts it beyond the realm of playable, and something like Standard is going to take too long for you to get to this. It's a decent card that's just too expensive to really play in faster formats. Another Mage Tower Referee, we got that one before. A Muse Seeker, 1 in a blue, 1/2, Elf Wizard Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you draw a card, then discard a card unless you 5 or more mana was spent to cast it there. So a little bit of cycling, okay. Inkshape Demonstrator, 3 and a white, 3/4. Not a 4/3, 3/4. Elephant Cleric, Ward 2. Okay. Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, this gets +1/+0 and lifelink until end of turn. Okay. That's not too bad. Old Growth Educator. 2, a black and a green for a 4/4 Treefolk Druid. Vigilance Reach. Infusion. When this ETBs, put 2 +1/+1s on it if you gain life this turn. I'm trying to remember if this is... No, the one that I'm thinking of, I think, was a rare, so this couldn't have been it, but maybe we saw this one in one of the collector boosters there, because it seems familiar. Okay, I feel a lot of cards left in here, so we must have 2 rares. Pox Plague, we did get this one previously. You know, it's an upgraded version of Pox, where instead of doing thirds, you're doing halves. 5 black mana for a sorcery. Each player loses half their life, then discards half the cards in their hand, then sacrifices half the permanents they control of their choice, round down each time. So you're getting rid of a whole lot of stuff. Yikes. We'll take that there. You know, there's a couple of ways that I can use that. And as we thought, a second rare, so box 2 is already up. Maelstrom Artisan, 1 and double red for a 3/2 Minotaur Sorcerer with haste that enters prepared, and it has Rocket Volley, 1 and a red sorcery, destroy target non-basic land. Okay, a little bit of lane destruction on this. I mean, oh boy, if you've got a little bit of ways to blink this, bring it back out, you know, being able to destroy a lot of your opponent's lands is going to be pretty nasty. You know, that's not necessarily a fun tactic, but it is one to be able to get rid of some powerful lands. Plus, it's also a Minotaur, so I've got a little bit of a low-powered Minotaur tribal type of deck there that this could certainly fit into, but this is a new card, so I am absolutely thrilled about that. And are we going to get another Mythical Archive card? Oh, we are. We're going to get another Feed the Swarm there. I love getting extra copies of these because I like to put them in my decks, and, you know, it's a decent card in and of itself. 1 in a black, sorcery, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls, you lose life equal to its mana value. So, I mean, sure, you might take a whole lot of life, but, I mean, it hits a couple of good things there, you know, the enchantments especially, so I will certainly take that. In our foil is going to be another Follow the Lumerats, you know, again, decent one to get, so I will certainly take another version that is foil. And, oh, we're getting a foil font of Amity and a copy and Spirit, so box 2 definitely wants to kind of flex on box 1 a little bit. Okay, now that we've seen box 2 flex a little bit, why don't we go into box 1 again, see if the other, I think his name is Delian Fell, that we got there, if he's going to respond at all. Another Zealous Lorecaster, you know, getting that instant or sorcery back to your hand. Noxious Newt, 1 and a green for a 1/2 Salamander with Death Touch, and you get a little bit of a green if you tap it. Okay, nice little tappy creature, we'll take that. Rapier Wit, 1 and a white, instant, tap target creature. If it's your turn, you put a stun counter on it, and then you draw a card. Replaces itself and, you know, put something down. Of course, you know, on your turn, it's, you know, not as convenient. So, that's why they have the stun counter on it, so it'll go through your opponent's turn, whereas if you use this on your opponent's turn, well, it's already going to be down for a bit. Landscape Painter, 1 and a blue, 2/1 Merfolk Wizard, enters prepared, and Vibrant Idea, 4 and a blue for a sorcery, draw 2 cards. Not a very efficient way of getting that spell, so, it's a body that has an inefficient version of that spell. Much better to have Divination, 2 and a blue, draw 2, and I think it's an instant, so not really anything useful for us. Strife Scholar, we'd seen this one before, 2 and a red, 3/2 Orc Sorcerer, ward, pay 2 life, enters prepared, Awaken the Ages, 5 and a red, create 2/2 red and white spirit creature token. So a little bit of token generation there. A little bit expensive on that end, though. Potioner's Trove, 3 mana for an artifact. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. Okay, a little mana rock there. And tap to gain 2 life. Activate only if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. So, okay, that's nice of getting a little bit of a, different effects on it there. So, decently, valued there in its mana. Not super expensive there, but it's not quite to the level of like Arcane Signet where you get 1 mana of any color there. So, getting this extra option adds 1 mana makes sense. Leech Collector, 1 and a black, 2/2 Human Warlock. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, this becomes prepared. So you can continuously get this up. And Bloodletting, 1 black, sorcery. Each opponent loses 2 life. Now the each makes that very interesting. So every turn you gain a little bit of life, and you take 2 life from each opponent there for 1 black mana. Honestly, not a bad deal. I could definitely see myself running this one. We also have Stress Dream, 3, a blue and a red for an instant, deals 5 damage to up to 1 target creature. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library. Okay, so a little bit of damage there, try to take out 1 creature, and then you get to filter through some of your cards there. Not too shabby, but a little bit on the expensive side. Infirmary Healer, 1 and a green, 2/3, Cat Cleric, enters prepared, Stream of Life, X and green, sorcery, target player gains X life. It's kind of what we see in some of these things now. This is a good one for that whole Zimone or the Primo there with the whole X spell in this. But, not sure if that's exactly what you want to do it, but it's a possibility for you. Charging Strife Knight, 2 and a red, 3/3, Spirit Knight with haste. Tap, discard to draw a card. A little bit of rummaging there, so that's fine. And our rare is going to be one that we've already gotten again. So it's looking like our box 1 has been getting rares that we've gotten before. X, a green and a blue, sorcery, draw X cards. Then you may put a permanent with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. So, kind of doubling up on all of your stuff there of drawing a bunch of cards, but then you also get a free card as well. Again, very nice, goes well with that Zimone and Primo as we've seen before, and we're also going to get another Burst Lightning. Okay. Again, I'm not terribly a big fan of Burst Lightning, but we'll take as many as we can for our collections. And we're getting another Expressive Fire Dancer in our foil this time. And Paradox Gardens, our Surveil land for the Quandrix School. Yep, Quandrix School, and a Fractal Pest again. Okay, nothing super fantastic in our second pack here for box 1. So box 2, you've got a big chance of being able to run away with this and cementing, that box 2 can actually get some good stuff. Run Behind, 3 and a blue, instant, costs 1 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Target creature's owner puts it on their choice at the top or bottom of their library. So a little bit of disruption there. Giving them the choice is not quite as good, though. Eager Glyph Mage, 3 and a white, 3/3 Cat Cleric. When this ETBs, you create a 1/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. So, create a little bit of extra thing. It's got an ETB trigger. You can try to double those up, try to blink this, but there's a lot of better things that can do that, so I'm going to probably pass on it. Tome Blast, 1 and a red, sorcery, deals 2 damage to any target, and Flashback, 4 and a red. Ooh, spending 2 mana to deal 2 damage does not feel good when we've had Shock for so long, and Shock being just a common card as well. Flashback of 5 to deal 2 damage, like I can understand, it's 5 mana for the flashback, so you get Opus on it. This also removes it from the graveyard, so you get Lorehold effect. It's just so expensive that I just wouldn't use this. Mindful Biomancer, 1 and a green, 2/2, Dryad Druid, ETBs, you gain 1 life, 2 and a green, gets +2/+2 until end of turn, activate only once each turn. We've seen this one before, it's like that Basking Rootwalla type of effect there. A little bit good in like limited formats there, but kind of falls off in other ones. Ulna Alley Shopkeep, 2 and a black, 2/3. Goblin Warlock with Menace and Infusion, gets +2/+0 as long as you gain life this turn. Very basic card there. Another Potioner's Trove. Okay, we'll certainly take more of these. Being able to use it as other mana rocks there that we might want, as well as maybe life gain deck that we might need it. Potioner's Apprentice, 2 and a black, 2/2, Orc Warlock, Infusion, ETBs. Target creature an opponent controls gets -4/-4 until in turn. If you gain life this turn, a little bit of removal on a stick there. It's a 2/2 afterwards. Good one to blink out if you want to try to remove something like that. Simone's Experiment. It looks like she's opening up a whole lot of different omen paths there. Okay, you got to be careful with that. 3 and a green sorcery. Look at top 5 cards of your library. Can reveal up to 2 creature and or land cards from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Put all lands revealed this way onto the battlefield tapped, and put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand. Okay, so similar to the other one that we had there, that was the, we just got it in here. It was the Lumaret thing. Follow the Lumarets there. So both sorceries. Simone's Experiment costs twice as much. It looks at an extra card. Does not need to gain life, but gaining life is kind of an easy thing to do. The difference is that the lands that you reveal for Simone's Experiment, those ones go onto the battlefield. So that's the effect that it gets. Is it worth the extra mana? Maybe not. So it kind of will go into, depending on how much you can ramp into things, whether or not this one is going to be better than the, Follow the Lumarets there. But they're on equivalent grounds because this one does get to see an extra one. It doesn't have as much restriction, though the restriction is honestly not that difficult to figure out. But it does get to put any lands onto the battlefield. They do go onto the battlefield tapped, but it is a little bit of mana ramp there. So I think Follow the Lumarets is going to be better because it is only 1 less card, and it's only 2 mana, so it's half the cost. So it kind of feels better. Kirill, History Buff, one of our first years that we got to meet on Lorwyn. Red and white, 2/3, Vampire Cleric, legendary creature. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, it becomes prepared. Very Lorehold. Pack a Punch, 1 red, white, sorcery, middle card. Put 2 +1/+1s on target creature. Gains trample until end of turn. Okay, being able to put more things in there. Put some +1s on, +1/+1s, gain trample. Yep, it's a decent beater. Mika, Reader of Ruins. I think this is a new one there. Another legendary creature. 3 and a red, 4/4, legendary human artificer with ward, pay 3 life. Costly to target this card. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you may sack an artifact. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for it. Okay, that's very interesting. There's a lot of different artifact tokens that you can do because this doesn't say anything about tokens. So you get a lot of ways to make servos or thopters or just any really cheap artifact. Clues, food tokens. They're, being able to just sack one there to copy spells. I think Mika is actually really, really good. Now, I think it's too slow to do anything in like standard or modern or anything like that, but I think Mika could be a really good like low-powered commander or just like a nice card within the 99 there. That's an interesting one to keep in mind. and steal the show. So we are getting a whole lot of cards that we already got in our rare slots there, unfortunately. 2 and a red sorcery, choose one or both. Target player discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards, and steal the show deals damage equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker. It's a nice little removal there. You're able to refill up your hand if you've got a decent amount of cards in it. It's a decent rare there, and we're going to get a sleight of hand as well. 1 blue sorcery, look top 2 cards, put one in your hand and the other goes on the bottom of your library. So, you know, a simpler version of the Lumerets, where this one is just 1 mana. It sees half the cards that it has and you can only take 1, but it's 1 mana. It's a nice little cantrip there, so not too shabby. And our foil is going to be a Leech Collector. Okay, so like I said before, I like the Leech Collector. I will dig it, and now I can bling it out if I want to. And we're getting a nice little mountain there. We haven't gotten a lot of the normal lands, so finally getting that. It looks like we got a lot of spirits going up to whatever this building is, and an elemental squid and a fractal there. So I think we can safely say that that one was a little bit of a wash between the two. So box 2 is still a little bit ahead of box 1. Hoping that maybe one might be able to burst out. So the Delian Fell ones, not the most amazing here. So maybe I'm trying to remember what her name is. Maybe Tam. Maybe she might be able to give us a little bit of extra. Quick Study, 2 and a blue for instant, draw 2 cards. Like I said before, this is kind of the default. This is your like divination and whatnot there. Just your, I think actually divination is 2 blue, 2 for the effect there. So, but I mean, even still, the 5 mana one at sorcery speed is just even not as good as divination, but 2 card for 3, that's kind of the baseline that we're going for. As you can see, it's even a common. Unstable Mockery, 2 and a red instant, deals 4 damage to target creature, and then Surveil 1 there. Again, 4 for 3. It's a little bit much to do that sort of damage. Another Mindful Biomancer, our Basking Rootwalla, another Ulmus Alley Shopkeep there, you know, very basic card, just gaining a little bit of extra. Potioner's Trove, we keep on getting this one. Hopefully it's a decent mana rock, because, I mean, it's colorless. I can put it anywhere, so that's decent at least. Imperious Ink Mage, 1 a white and a black, 3/3, Orc Warlock, Vigilance, ETBs, Surveil 2. That's not too bad there. It's fairly basic in what it does, but, I mean, Surveil 2 for a 3/3 with Vigilance, it's pretty decent for a common. Another Poisoner's Apprentice there. The removal on a stick, as we saw. Another Zamon's Experiment there to look at our top 5. You know, we'll take more of those. Another Curel, so looking like we're getting some repeats within these here. And another Mika Reader of Runes, so it's very similar to our previous Delian Fell pack over here. Okay, Conciliator's Duelist. This is a new one for us. 2 white, 2 black, 4/3, Core Warlock. When this ETBs, you draw a card, and then each player loses 1 life. So you draw a card, but then everybody gets hit with the damage from the Phyrexian Arena. I like that more. Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, exile up to 1 target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so a little bit of blink on a stick. All you need to do is target a single creature. That's actually nifty. You know, can get a lot of blink effects there with this. I dig this one. I can definitely use that. And oh, okay. Getting a little bit of a mythic in our mythical archive, a little bit of Living End. That's going to be a new one for us, and we absolutely will take that one. Oh my goodness. And it's beautiful artwork as well. You get the kind of desiccated face in the center there, but still alive, breaking out from the shell of skull. Glad to get another one there. Oh boy. Suspend 3. So this has no mana value. It's a mana value 0. Suspend 3. So you put 3 suspend counters on it. Each upkeep you take 1 off, and when this has 0 on it, you cast the spell. But suspend 3/2, double black. Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyards and sacks all creatures they control, then puts all cards they exiled this way onto the battlefield. So essentially putting everything that is in the graveyard onto the battlefield and everything that was on the battlefield into the graveyard there. Absolutely will take that. Fantastic. We'll absolutely take that. I mean, nifty little mythic that we get in there. Definitely pulling itself ahead of the pack. Can you keep up, box 2? And we're going to get a foil Lewin exchange student. So this is going to be one of our other first years. 2, a black and a green for a 3/4 legendary elf druid, which enters prepared, and you can exile a creature card from your graveyard to prepare Lewin. Again, you activate only as sorcery, and he has the extra spell of Pest Friend, hybrid black-green for sorcery, and you create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token that gains you a life whenever it attacks. Okay, I'm not sure that we got this one in our packs there, so I'll absolutely take that one. And we're going to get our standard mountain and fractal pest. Okay, getting a mythic in our mythical archive is definitely going to pump you ahead. Box 2, now you're starting to get left in the dust. Are you going to take that, or are you going to allow us to actually have a fight on our hands? Seize the spoils. 2 and a red sorcery, additional cost to cast this spell. You discard a card, draw 2, and create a treasure token. I really like these sort of big score effects there, so I'll take it. I don't think it's as good as big score there because you draw 1 less card. Sorry. This one is you draw 2 and you create 1 treasure, whereas Big Score lets you create 2 treasures there. So depending on, I think Big Score is 4 instead of 3, so it's however you want to play it there. Hungry Graphalon, 3 and a green, 3/4 reach, and then increment. Play something with a higher mana value than its attack or toughness, and it goes up by +1/+1. Last Gasp. Kind of a pseudo removal there, gets around indestructible. 1 in a black instant, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Conciliator's Duelist there, it's a good way to be able to target one thing. Interjection, 1 white instant, target creature gets +2/+2 and first strike until end of turn. Another way to target one thing with Conciliator's Duelist. Banishing Betrayal, 1 and a blue instant, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, surveil 1. Another thing that you can do with Conciliator's Duelist there. Visionary's Dance, 5 a blue and a red sorcery, create 2 3/3 blue and red elemental creature tokens with flying. Pay 2 mana, discard this card. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. 1 goes into your hand, the other goes into your graveyard. Honestly, I think that one there would likely be what you do with this more often than not, being able to just use it as and that can be used at instant speed as well. So that's an actual decent one to be able to use it for. Skycoach Waypoint, non-basic land, tap to add a colorless, 3 and tap, target creature becomes prepared. So, very easily make things prepared, especially if they are ones that only prepare when they ETB and you don't have ways of blinking them or whatnot to continuously do that is nice. I'll have to look to see what other ones might have prepared spells that are very good that can only potentially do it twice, and this would be really good in that. Graduation Day, 1 white for an enchantment, repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, you put a +1/+1 on target creature you control. Okay, very simple there. I have this enchantment out. You keep on targeting only singular things, or you've got things with that can copy themselves or can target multiple things, and then it works multiple times. That'd be decent. Growth Curve, green and blue, sorcery, put a +1/+1 on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1s on that creature. Very nice. You put it on something that already has a lot of them there, double them up. Very good. Keep that one in mind for those. End of the Hunt. Okay, it looks like someone is getting absolutely wrecked. Just because the Auric have gone silent doesn't mean their mage hunters have vanished. Yeah. Sorry, you did. 1 and a black sorcery. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Okay, so you get rid of their highest mana value thing, but it's creature or planeswalker. A lot of planeswalkers have been getting difficult to play. They're just losing out on power there, so getting rid of their highest mana value creature is probably going to be a really good move, so I'll certainly take that. It's a nice little removal spell. And, oh, there we go. I was looking for Silverquill. That's a really nice one to get. Okay, nice comeback to living in there. Okay, Silverquill. 2, a white and a black for a 4/4 legendary Elder Dragon with flying and vigilance. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has casualty 1. As you cast that spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 1 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. I think that this is very powerful. Now, it doesn't have inherently the same strength as some of the other dragons, other of the Elder Dragons from this set there. But I love copying spells, and there's so many good ways of doing this. There's so many ways to get like the 1/1 Inklings out, that you can get like 1/1 Servos or Thopters, or as I saw just recently, you can play a Bitter Blossom and you just get your 1/1 every single turn there as well. And it's just like, okay, that's an easy one for you to be able to sacrifice to be able to get your instant and sorcery speeds double cast. Like, there's some really good ways of being able to make that one very powerful. I'm thrilled to get it. So we did get an extra Elder Dragon just as we were looking for. So goal 1 complete. We did get another one from the Mythical Archive, so I think that's 2 goals. So they're staying pretty close together. And getting a little bit of a giant growth there with our really angry squirrel. 1 green, classic instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. And getting a Proctor's Gaze, 2 a green and a blue instant. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So you return something that they have to their hand. You can do it on yourself to get some sort of ETB or leave the battlefield trigger. But honestly, like, make your opponent, have your opponent struggle a little bit. They got to recast their thing, plus you get to ramp a little bit. Okay, nice little swamp there. And there's our Inkling that we were talking about, 1/1 flyer there, and our Spirit. Okay, I'm glad that box 2 responded appropriately. We're keeping this rather close. I'm looking forward to even more things. Like, keep on stepping it up. The TAM packs have been good, I'm not gonna lie. Glorious Decay, 1 and a green instant, choose 1, destroy target artifact, deal 4 damage to target creature with flying, or exile target card from my graveyard and draw a card. Nice little modal spell there. Sneering Shade Rider, 4 and a black, 3/3 Vampire Warlock, flying. ETB, each opponent loses 2 and you gain 2. Nice little target to use the Conciliator's Duelist against, potentially, hitting each opponent there. But in essence, it's a little bit too expensive for what it is, so not as likely to use it. Another Eager Glyph Mage there, just creating that token. Again, you can do this with, use it for the Silverquill, but there's other better ways of getting it. Another Run Behind there of disrupting creature. Another Tome Blast, really bad shock. Another Elemental Mascot, my favorite bird. Pest Brood Sloth, 3 and a green, 4/4 Plant Sloth. With reach, dies, you create 2 1/1 green and black pest creature tokens with whenever this attacks, you gain 1 life. Now, the old pest tokens were when it dies, you gain 1 life. Now, those ones would be good with Silverquill of, sacrificing them because they are 1/1s to gain a life, but then you also get your casualty. It's pretty nice. Colossus of the Blood Age, 4 red and white, 6/6 artifact creature construct. ETBs, deals 3 to each opponent. You gain 3 life, so, a little bit of that same stuff that we saw with the Sneering Shade Rider. When this dies, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. So very good way to be able to refill up your hand, get rid of anything that you need gone. or potentially fill up your graveyard because this is Lorehold. You want to put things in the graveyard so that they can leave the graveyard. Brush Off, 2 and double blue for an instant. This costs 1 and 1 blue less to cast if it targets an instant or sorcery spell. Counter target spell. That's actually very interesting. So it's kind of like a modal spell in that, you know, it's 4 mana to counter a creature or enchantment or anything like that, or it's 2 to counter an instant or sorcery. Very interesting. I think that's a nifty little counter spell that you can get there. You know, definitely targets more of the non-creature spells in terms of the instant and sorceries, but an interesting one nonetheless. I think that's a decent little counter spell. And our rare, little Deathcap Glade. Okay, so one of our lands that we're looking for. Now, we haven't gotten this art yet, but this is, you know, one from these. So we have plenty of these particular lands that have shown up. So not a great addition, but we will take it because it is a new artwork and a double rare, though it is one that we have gotten a couple of copies of in our collector packs there. Birdo, Wise Extrapolator, 2, a green and a blue for a 1/4 legendary frog druid with increment. Again, gets a +1/+1 if you cast a spell with a greater mana value than either its power or its toughness. But whenever 1 or more +1/+1s are put on Birdo, you add 1 mana of any color, so you get a little bit of a refund back. And X and tap, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and put X +1/+1 counters on it there. So you can put a larger one on it. That does not impact the increment because you're not casting a spell with that. You're using an ability. But, you know, 2 rares in that pack. So we are getting back for the 2 rares in that one. And a Disdainful Stroke. So we have gotten this one here, but it is a very, very beautiful one in and of itself. 1 and a blue, instant, counter target spell with mana value 4 or greater. So gets rid of something big. And a rare, another Sneering Shade Rider. Okay. Plains there, nice little archway on that, and an elemental bird. Ooh, a toucan version of it. I like that. And a nice little treasure that looks like some sort of puzzle in and of itself. Okay, so rares might not have been the best in that one there. However, we did get back at the double rare. Hopefully, maybe box 2, you can respond in kind with something interesting. What have you got? We've got the Cheerful Osteomancer that we've seen before. 3 and a black for 2 Orc Warlock, enters prepared. Raise dead, 1 black, sorcery, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So again, this is one that we could use the prepared, bringing stuff back continuously to our hand. Now, it's not reanimate per se, but, you know, it is a possibility for us. A Johnny's Response, 4 and a white, instant, costs 3 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature, destroy target tapped creature there. So you can destroy a creature for 5, or, you know, it's coming in attacking, or it's on your turn there, only 2 mana. The 2 mana seems pretty good. Classic Essence Scatter, 1 and a blue, instant, counter target creature spell there. I really like this version of it, just splitting up all of the creature into different segments. Another Unstable Mockery, very expensive damage spell with a Surveil cost. Glorious Decay, nice little modal spell here. Render Speechless, 2, a white and a black, sorcery target. Opponent reveals their hand, you choose an all-land card from it, they discard it, put 2 +1/+1s on up to 1 target creature. Very expensive Thoughtseize effect, just give me Thoughtseize instead. Essence Knit Scholar, black, black-green hybrid, and a green for a 3/1 Dryad Warlock. When this ETBs, you create the 1/1 black-green pest token with whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, you draw a card. Okay, not too shabby there. I'll certainly take that. I like that whole effect there of just being able to essentially draw an extra card each turn in a black and green deck that's going to have things dying. Yeah. Foolish Fate, another removal spell, 2 and a black, instant, destroy target creature, infusion. If you gain life this turn, its controller loses 3 life as well. So, nice little removal, a little bit of burn there on top of it there if you gain a little bit of life, okay. Harsh Annotation, 1 and a white, instant, destroy target creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. Honestly, not too shabby. Like, it's not an exile effect, it is a destroy, but it's one of the replacement effects there, like Beast Within. It's a little bit cheaper than Beast Within, but they only get a 1/1. It does have flying, but it's still a 1/1. And, ooh, another Resonating Loot. Now, this one is really good, and I'm glad that we got it again there, because I've got a few places where this can go into. 2, a blue, and a red for an artifact with lands you control. Have tap, add 2 mana of any one color to spend on instant or sorcery spells only. And you can also tap this to draw a card, but you can only activate it if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. So you have a full hand, well, draw an extra card. They are kind of like, I'm trying to remember if that's Library of Alexandria, where it's like if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand, you can tap it to draw a card. But yeah, having your lands, like in a spellcaster deck, be able to tap for double mana, it's pretty darn good there. Yeah, I'm certainly going to take that. That's a very, very good card. This TAM pack was really good. Okay, box 2 is vastly taking control there. So we're getting double up on our Elder Dragons in this one here. For Quandrix, the Proof, now we've gotten this one before in its alternate art, but this is the standard one, which we don't have, so I will absolutely take new artworks, and it's really good too, so yeah. For a green and a blue, for a 6/6 legendary Elder Dragon with flying and trample, it has Cascade, very nice, caster free spells, and all instant and sorceries you cast from your hand have Cascade as well. Oh my. Being able to play a whole lot of extra spells there is super nice there. Getting 2 Elder Dragons there. Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you, Box 2. You've responded to the double rares with another double rare pack yourself. The double rares that we got in this one were Berta and Deathcap Glade. The land is nice, Berta not so much. And we got one of the best rares in the pack, as well as one of the best mythics in the pack as well. Not including, you know, all of the mythical archive cards. Like, ooh, box 2, you're shooting ahead. And Death Beyond Duty, okay, we have not gotten this version of this one yet. 1 and a white, instant, as an additional cost to cast a spell, you sack a creature, and creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. You put a +1/+1 on each creature you control. Okay. Nice little protection spell. Get rid of only 1 creature there. And everything you gets indestructible. Protection spell. And they get a little bit bigger with the +1/+1. Very, very good. Absolutely will take that one. Think that this one is new. And our foil. Oh, and it's a triple rare pack. Like this, it would only be one better if this one was a rare as well. 3 rares in this pack. And we got this one in there, but this is foil, so it's just better in itself. So another Mind into Matter, another X-Spell. You know, we've already got it, so it's not the most amazing, but I mean, a mythic and 2 rares. Yeah, that's really, really good. Swamp, Inkling, and Spirit. Okay. Box 2, you are definitely showing your chops here. Okay, now we're going to go into the Sonar packs. We actually covered a lot of the colors that are some of my favorites. Delian Fell, black and green. I like me a little bit of Golgari. Then we go into Tam, who is green and blue. I like green and blue as well. It's not my favorite. Like, I prefer black and blue over green and blue, but I'll certainly take green and blue as well. A lot of good copying and the X spells and whatnot there. But we got Sonar last. It's blue and red. Hopefully, he can give us a little something. Ancestral Anger, 1 red, sorcery. Target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of Ancestral Angers in your graveyard, and you draw a card there. You know, a decent little pump spell on that one there. Replaces itself. Useful one. Studious First Year. Red for a 1/1 Bear Wizard, enters prepared and Rampant Growths. Okay, 1 and a green, sorcery. Search a library for a basic land, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Honestly, this is a really good 1-drop. You get a 1/1 for green. On the next turn, if you don't have a 2-drop, then you can Rampant Growth to get your extra land, so you're at 3 mana, and then on turn 3, you play another land, so you got 4 mana there. You know, honestly, not that bad. It's not the most amazing. Like, you probably would prefer something like Llanowar Elves or any of those mana dorks there, but having a Rampant Growth on this is pretty darn good, I would say. Another Cost of Brilliance, you know, not my most favorite one there. Draw 2, lose 2, and then put 1+1/+1 counter on things. Interjection, you know, it's a decent one of, you know, putting the +2/+2 and first strike on something. Now, it is white, so as I said, it could go well with Conciliator Duelist, but in Feather is the thing that I'm thinking of for this, because I'm trying to remember. I think if you use it on Feather, you give it to other things or something along those lines. So it's potentially a good one there of giving a lot of your stuff extra power, extra toughness, and first strike. Fractal Mascot for a green and a blue, 6/6, Fractal Elk, Trample, ETBs, tap target creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. It's very expensive for that effect, though. I'm going to pass. Another Pursue the Past, red and white, sorcery, gain 2 life, then you may discard a card. If you draw 2 cards there. This is only really good if you do discard the card, because gaining 2 for a red and a white is really not worth it there, but essentially cycling out cards is really good. Getting 1 into the graveyard is good for lore hold and also flashback, so that you'll be able to then have this card leave your graveyard there. You know, it's decent as long as you do the discards. Quandrix Charm, green and blue, instant, choose 1, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. A little bit of that Mana Tithe effect. Destroy target enchantment. Sometimes those are hard to get rid of. That's nice. And target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. So potentially making something a bit bigger to be able to survive something or hit your opponent just a little bit harder is nice. Tablet of Discovery. I think this one is a pretty good one as well. 2 and a red artifact. When the ETBs mill a card, you may play that card this turn. So again, very similar to what we said before. It's kind of like an impulse draw, except it goes into your graveyard instead of exile. So it's a lot better for lore hold there. And if you don't play it, it's still in your graveyard to be able to play later. Tap to add red or tap double red. Spend this only to cast instant and sorcery spells. Okay, so that is very good. They're very similar to the Resonating Loot there. Double red for extra spells. A lot of spellslinger decks like their red. So yeah, that's a very good one. Another new legendary creature. Okay. Orisa, Tide Choreographer. 4 and a blue for a 2/2 legendary Merfolk Bard. This spell costs 3 less to cast if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater. When it ETBs, you draw 2 cards. Okay, you know, that's a nifty little one there of being able to essentially get a 2/2 for 2 mana and draw 2 cards if it's just played a little bit later on. Honestly, not that bad. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's going to be something I'd play as my commander, but in the 99, being able to draw 2 extra cards for only 2 mana, it's pretty darn good. I'll certainly take that. Stand up for yourself, a little bit of anti-bullying. 3 and a white, instant, destroy target creature with power 3 or greater. You know, kind of similar to our Valorous Stance there. And another traumatic critique there. Prismari, Galaveth Prismari, just absolutely roasting this Philo. X and a blue-red, instant, deals X damage to any target, and then you draw 2 cards and discard a card there. It's fine. And another Disdainful Stroke. So we're doubling up on how disdainful we are with these ones here. Again, I still really like the purples in this. And we're getting a foil Foolish Fate. I think it's a decent removal spell there. So getting another one in foil gets to bling it out. And a Titan's Grave. So now we've gotten the Witherbloom version of the Surveil land again in these and the Fractal Pest. Okay, so that's in our pack. Not really giving us a whole lot there. This one, however, maybe if I rub it for luck, box 2 will give us a little bit of something something. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, starting off with a little bit of Banishing Betrayal, that little removal. Another Ancestral Anger for that pump and draw. Noxious Newt for our Mana Dork. Masterful Flourish, 1 black, instant, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn there. Kind of goes with the Conciliator Duelist there of single targets. Ascendant Dustspeaker, 4 and a white, 3/4, Orc Cleric flying. ETBs, put a +1/+1 on target creature. Beginning of combat of your turn, exile up to 1 target creature from a graveyard there. So you get to get all the lore hold effects as well. Stadium Tidal Mage, 2, a blue and a red for a 4/4 Djinn Sorcerer. When it attacks, enters or attacks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Okay, being able to just continuously loop is nice. Not loop, loot. Pest mascot, 1, a black and a green, 2/3. Pest ape. Okay. Trample, whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 on this creature. Okay, just kind of very simple. Gain life, make him bigger. Borrowed knowledge, 2, a red and a white. Sorcery, choose one, discard your hand, then draw cards equal to the number of cards in target opponent's hand. That's very nice. Or discard your hand, then draw cards equal to the number of cards discarded this way. Okay, that's very good. Being able to choose whichever one that you want there. If you have few cards in your hand, like 1 or 2, and this is your last card, or you're left with 1 or 2 afterwards and you got an opponent with 5 to 7 cards there, very good to do that. Or if you've got 5 to 7 cards in your hand after you play this one, drawing a whole bunch of cards is nice. And if you do have a lot, filling up your graveyard for lore hold is very nice. However, I will say this does remind me very heavily of the tuning exams from Naruto, like the first written test there of all of them, like, how can I cheat without the proctors noticing? It makes it fun to have kind of like a callback to that in this. Another Proctor's Gaze, as we saw before, returning something to their hand and getting your own basic onto the battlefield. A little bit of disruption, a little bit of ramp. That's blue and green for you. Poisoner's Apprentice, the removal on the stick with the infusion. Box 2. Oh my goodness. Not only did we get another Elder Dragon, we got the alternate art of it. Oh my goodness. Like, before this, we had just the Quandrix. It's like, yeah, Living End, it's really nice. This has 3 mythics in it now. And we haven't even gotten to the collector packs. Yeah, the Sonars over here are good too. What? Lorehold the Historian, 3, a red and a white, 5/5 legendary Elder Dragon, flying in haste. Each instant and sorcery card in your hand has a miracle too. Oh my god. You've got something that's super expensive when you draw and you can play it for 2. That's so good. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And Miracle works on each turn, I believe. I think it's like if it's the first card you draw each turn. Oh my goodness. That's so good. Yeah, these dragons are super good. Oh my. Oh, yes. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm just like, I remember opening up that second collector booster and I'm like, I want to get the Emeritus and extra dragons, and I got none of them. And I'm like, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. They're opening up this one. I'm like, it'd be nice if I got the extra dragons. Gets 3 dragons. Okay. Box 2, keep on popping off. Oh my goodness. Box 1, unless you got something really, really good in your collector boosters, I don't see you coming back, because this is a Vampiric Tutor. Oh my goodness, a double mythic pack with a good dragon and a Vampiric Tutor. 1 black, instant, search your library for a card, then put it on the top of your deck. Then you lose 2 life. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Box 2. You're definitely proving yourself. Box 2 can actually be good. And we've got another Embrace the Paradox, the big version of Growth Spiral there. Oh my goodness. Another Forum of Amity. And our Flaming Toucan Bird is giving us some luck there. Oh my goodness. Yes, please. Yes, please. I really thought that it was not going to get any better, but it did. Okay, Box 2, you're running away with it. Box 1, you've got 1 more Sonar pack to potentially try to make this up. You got it in you. I mean, you got to do it in your collector boosters, because like even if you got like 2 or 3 mythics in here, like 3 mythics I think evens it out. Oh my god. Melancholic Poet, 1 and a black, 2/2, Elf Bard, repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Again, a very decent one for this repartee, and it's on a common. This is a very decent common. I could definitely run this in a deck there that's using a whole lot of that, like, singular targets. Another Stone Docent, not, like, conversely, not a good common. Muse's Encouragement, 4 and a blue, instant, create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. That is our Flaming Toucan, and Surveil 2. Not a very good way to go about getting it. Expressive Fire Dancer, again, temporary +1/+1's not as good as counters on it there. And on Opus, you know, it's very similar to, what do you call it there? Not Flurry, but the other one that we had there, Prowess. It's very similar to Prowess there on this particular one, but you get extra if you spend 5, but a lot of Prowesses are better than these. Another Follow Lumerette's okay. Again, I like this one. It's good for those ones there. Another Visionary's Dance. That's another decent one to get for this effect. Never going to use it for that. Abigail, Poet Laureate. She's already at a Laureate as a first year. That's pretty incredible. 1, a white and a black for a 2/3 legendary bird bard with flying. Whenever you cast a creature spell, it becomes prepared. And Heroic Stanza, 1 and a hybrid white-black sorcery, put a +1/+1 on target creature. I mean, you're targeting creatures. That's a way for you to be able to do it in this white and black. So, okay. Impractical Joke. This is like the Impractical Jokers. Are they going to make you try to do something silly that is beyond your ability to perform? Are you going to get a strike? 1 red for a sorcery. Damage can't be prevented this turn. It deals 3 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Okay. So, not exactly a lightning bolt. It can't hit your opponent, but it is 1 red mana to deal 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, but we're probably not seeing a whole lot of planeswalkers here. And all damage can't be prevented this turn. So if you've got other ways of doing that, well, here's the thing. This is also really good in a deck that is trying to go super aggro, and you're going against a deck that might have like turbo fogs or something because they prevent damage. Damage can't be prevented anymore. This is a very, very interesting one, especially if like you're also in Commander and you're like, okay, I've got my big board and I know that my opponents have like fogs or spore frog or anything of like that, and you're like, 1 red mana, sorry, all damage can't be prevented anymore. Nice. This is a good one. Fractal Tender, 3 a red, not a red, 3 a green and a blue for a 3/3 elf wizard with ward 2 and increment. Gets a little bit bigger if you spend more mana than its power or toughness. Beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on this creature this turn, you create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and put 3 +1/+1s on it. Very interesting. So the big thing that I think of this is each end step. If you've got a way to proliferate every single turn, that would mean that you just get a 3/3 token at every single turn. That's pretty nifty. I'm going to try to, I could potentially try to put this in something and maybe build a little bit around it. And another Pox Plague. So unfortunately we are duplicating up on one of the ones, but, you know, the big thing is that it's not duplicating something in there. So it's like, can you do a little bit better? Okay, we are getting a new rare, and it is a new legendary. Okay, what do you have, Jodsy? I know that Jace has some sort of plans for you. Jodsy, Steward of Fate, 2 and a blue, 2/4, legendary human wizard, enters prepared, and when it enters, you draw 2 and discard 2. Okay, so you got a little bit of stuff that you do when it ETBs, but when it ETBs, it's just that. So you would have to prepare it again, or blink it or something. We've got our thing to be able to prepare it. Oracle's Gift, double X and blue. So this can go into Zimone, it can go into Primo, those sort of things. Sorcery, create X 0/0 green and blue fractal creature tokens, then put X +1/+1 counters on each fractal you control. Okay. So you got a lot of decks that play a lot of fractals and whatnot there, and you're putting a whole lot of extra counters on all of your fractals. That's a nifty one. Now, I don't think that it's necessarily going to be a terribly expensive card because, you know, you can't really use it in standard or modern or anything like that, but I think that it could be a decent one in those sorts of Zimone or Primo decks there that are getting a lot of fractals there, and you could potentially make a whole lot of them and make a whole lot bigger. And okay, you know, a little bit of smallpox, that's nice too. Now, again, we actually, that's very fun. We've got pox, plague, and smallpox in the same exact one. Now, smallpox is just going to be the little version of pox there, but it's going to be 2 black for a sorcery. Each player loses 1, discards 1 card, sacrifices a creature of their choice, and then sacks a land of their choice there. So, you know, getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff there, but, you know, nifty little one. I certainly have places for that, and it's a new version of these Mythical Archive cards, so I'll certainly take that. And we're going to have another foil fractal mascot. Fields of Strife, so we've got the Lorehold version of the Surveils in here, and we are just missing 1 remaining one, and we've got our Fractal and Pest. So doing a little bit better for our final Sonar pack here, getting Jadzi, who I can use. We had some interesting ones in here, like the Melancholic Poet was really nice there. Another Lumeretz, Abigail. The Impractical Joke was really nice as well. Double rares is also nice, and technically triple rares because we did get Smallpox in it. How will our final Sonar pack over in box 2 fare, though? Any better? We already... Our last one was pretty darn good, so I don't think it's going to be as good at that. Seize of Spoils, like I said, I like my big score cards. Hungry Graphalon, pretty basic card, I'm good. Snaring Shade Rider, not that great. Elite Interceptor, 1 white, 1/2, Human Wizard, enters prepared. Rejoinder, 1 and a white, sorcery, may tap or untap target creature and draw a card. It's kind of meh there. Chase Inspiration, 1 blue, instant, target creature you control gains +0/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn there. A little bit of protection there. Spirit Mascot, red and white, 2/2 Spirit Ox. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, you put a +1/+1 on this creature. Very basic. You follow the Lorehold stuff, it gets a little bit bigger each time. The nice little Terramorphic Expanse, sack this land, search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. Homesickness, 4 and double blue, instant, target player draws 2, tap up to 2 target creatures, and you put a Stout Encanter in each of those there, so it doesn't say on your stuff, so that's nice, you know, make sure that their stuff goes down, and you've got a little bit of replacement. Garrison Excavator, 3 and a red for a 3/4 Orc Sorcerer with Menace. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, you create a 2/2 red and white Spirit Creature token. So this is, you're getting extra creatures for doing the Lorehold stuff. I feel that's a little bit better than making 1 creature really, really big, but you know, you can do both of them. Another Essent Knit Scholar there. Got that one before. Get the extra draw if a creature under your control died during your turns. Ooh, and another Grave Researcher. Now, this is the Reanimate one, so this is a decent one. Again, another point for box 2. 2 and a black, 3/3, Troll Warlock. Beginning of your upkeep, you surveil 1. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this becomes prepared. There are very, very easy ways of having this out there where you consistently have cards in your graveyard, because then each turn you can cast Reanimate, 1 black, sorcery, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its mana value, but I mean, this is 3 mana to put this down. You're getting a Surveil every turn, it becomes prepared every turn, and you can reanimate a creature every turn. Very, very good one. And a Monstrous Rage. Good old ban card in Standard. 1 red for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. You create a monster roll token attached to it. If you control another roll on it, put it into the graveyard. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. Now, there was something that I saw regarding, what was it? I think it was in Commander Legends. There was a red, white, and black card. It was not from Mardu, but you know, it's Mardu coloring that dealt with a lot of like sacrificing enchantments to get enchantments back from the graveyard, and with all of the saga creatures, enchantment creatures, and these rolls, I think that it's very good. And, you know, the glimmers as well, the glimmer tokens. So potentially something I put in that one because this is red, but, you know, something for me to think on. And, ooh, and a cuboid colony. Look at all those bees making the perfect shape. Green and blue, 1/1 insect with flash, flying and trample, and it has increment. So you can put it out there as just a quick blocker, or, you know, put it in at the end of your opponent's turn there so that it comes to your turn and you can make it a little bit bigger with the increment effect. I'll certainly take that. Ooh, and we get one of our full art lands there. That's really nice. Now, it's not foil, but hey, I will take it there. We still are not getting a whole lot of the black versions of those ones, but we got another version of the Inkling token there. So honestly, a decent one here. You know, we got the Grave Researcher, but definitely the previous in our pack was better. Okay, now we are onto the big guns here. We've got our 2 collector boosters and our special promos from each one. Okay, box 1. These 2 packs are kind of like your only chance of coming back. Can you do it? Or does box 2 just have you beat in every single way? Rehearsed Debater, 2 and a white, 3/3, Djinn Bard with Vigilance, repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, this gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Again, very similar to Prowess there, but not nearly as good, so I'm going to pass on that. Another Unstable Mockery. We didn't get this one in foil in our previous collector pack, so I'll take it, but it's still not that great. Adventurous Eater, 2 and a black for a 3/2 human warlock, enters prepared, and have a bite. 1 black, sorcery, put a +1/+1 on target creature and you gain 1 life. Very basic there. Foil Titan's Grave, the Surveil land for the Witherbloom. Another Homesickness there, you know, foil, being able to draw those extra cards, tap down some of your opponent's stuff. Abigail, Poet Laureate, you know, get another version of her, being able to just, you know, have the repartee as well as the conciliator duelist there, be able to pop off. Root Manipulation, 3, a black and a green, sorcery, till end of your turn. Creatures you control get +2/+2, and menace. And whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life, so they get that pest effect there. They get a little bit bigger. It is a sorcery, so unfortunately, it's expensive, and I don't really think that it's worthwhile to use. Another Bitter Triumph there, so we are going to be getting one of those. And foil one, Return the Favor. Okay, that's a really good one there. 1, we didn't have it. 2, it's in foil. 3, it's a good card. Return the Favor, double red for an instant with Spree. You can add an additional 1 mana to copy target instant spell, sorcery spell, activated ability, or triggered ability, and you get to choose new targets. Or you can add an additional 1 to change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. So protect one of your things, or you gain a benefit there, and then maybe potentially get extra copies. Honestly, pretty nice there. So I will absolutely take this because, like I said, good card, and we don't have it yet. And we got a foil plane, so we're getting a lot of our planes there. So what sort of rares do we got? Can you bring anything back? First up, Flashback. Okay, Flashback is a very, very good one there. I had thought that this was a card that showed up in like an Innistrad one, but no, it's actually a brand new card. 1 red for an instant, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. Its flashback cost is equal to its mana cost there. So it's basically saying play target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard for an additional red, but it also hits all of the Lorehold stuff as well. So honestly, awesome card there. Can be used in so many decks there. So absolutely we'll take more versions of these. 100%. Thank you. That's a very good card. Ooh, and a Ganjo Dynastorian, one of the better cards that you can get from the commander decks. 2 and a white, 2/3 Fox Advisor, Vigilance. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, it becomes prepared. So continuously can become prepared, but it's got Replenish, 3 and a white, sorcery, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So very, very nice, being able to refresh those. Again, this I think would go well with that card that sacrifices enchantments to get them back from the graveyard there, because You can return them all and then throw another instant into your graveyard so that you can try to get that going, but you can get a whole lot of potentially the ones that are the creatures or the creature sagas. You can bring sagas back. Very, very good one there for this. So thank you for that. And well, it's not the blue one, but it's another emeritus. I know it's not a very good emeritus, but I will absolutely take more of these. Thank you very much, because it's also a borderless one. Emeritus of Truth, 1 double white for a 3/3 cat cleric. When it enters, target player creates a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, this becomes prepared. So it's only prepared once each turn. So I'll have to see if all of the other emerituses only become prepared once, because then that whole spell of, the land that prepares things, if you've got a lot of things that can prepare, would be really nice in those. And for its prepared spell, it's got Swords to Plowshares, 1 white instant, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equals to its power. Very, very good removal spell on this. Again, not the most amazing of the emerituses, but I think that it's very good of having, creature creation. It's a 3/3 body, and it has a spell, a prepared spell that's really, really good. So I will absolutely take more of those. Again, I'd really appreciate it if it was the blue one there, but I'll take that one as well. Okay, so we have left the Mythical Archive card, which should be, rare or higher, as well as our big card. What do we got? And then we've also got Professor Delian Fell here, which we did get that artwork, which was nice. Mythical Archive card we've got. Okay, so... Okay, what do we got here? Because this is Japanese, which is very good. The Japanese versions are the ones that you want to get in these. So this is... Let's see here. Okachi. This might be big score. 3 in a red, instant. Yep, discard 1 card. Draw 2 cards. And, yep, create 2 treasure tokens. Yeah, this is big score. Okay, I've got another blinged out version of big score. I'll certainly take that. Thank you very much. Like I said, I love my big score effects, and now I've got another one here. Very, very nice. New artwork for it as well. Getting some new artworks on those. And our... Oh, did we... Oh, I was like, did we not get a token in this? This is supposed to be the token. Big card of this pack here. Can you bring it back? The Emeritus, that's another mythic. We got a decent one in big score. We got one of the best ones from the commander deck. We got one of the best rares in flashback. Can you do anything? Zephyr and the Tempest. Unfortunately, not that good of a one. I can certainly use it, but there's a whole lot better things that you can get than this. 5, a blue and a red, 5/7, legendary human bard sorcerer. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. Now, you can do that after you've played this, because it just says during each of your turns. It doesn't specify a time within your turn, so you can, if it's an instant, you can do it at any point. End step, second main, during combat, you've got abilities to be able to do that there. So we've got it, but, it's not the most amazing one. Definitely helped a little bit with some of the stuff you've got, but if Box 2 gets some better stuff, you can definitely be in a little bit of trouble there. So I think you're still in a bit of trouble. Okay, another Studious first year. So again, I think that this is a pretty good one drop there. So good to get another one, especially in foil. Zealous Lorecaster, getting the things back, instant or sorcery back from your graveyard to your hand. We'll certainly take that. Foil Melancholic Poet there. That's good. We can bling that one out if we want to. Stone Docent. Again, I think it's one of the weakest common cards that we've got here. Foolish Fate, another foil one for this removal. We'll certainly take that. Foil Quandrix Charm. Okay, we'll do that as well. Thunderdrum Soloist. 1 and a red for a 1/3 Dwarf Bard with Reach. And Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, this deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's good. That's really, really good for a spellcaster deck, so that's already good for an Opus. And if 5 or more mana was spent to cast it, it does 3 damage to them instead. Okay, this is one of the better ones there. I really like this card. I think that this one is really good there for those spellcaster type of decks, being able to continuously do that. And if you spend a whole lot of mana on it, then you get to do 3 times the amount of damage. Yep, this is a good one there. I'll certainly take that. Ooh, and I believe that this is Helping Hand again because we had gotten this one previously. So, you know, another Japanese one of these. That's good. And we're also going to get another Stock Up. Okay, Stock Up is a decent one. Not as good as a Japanese one, but this is still one of the better uncommon ones that we can get. So we'll certainly take that. And other planes, like I said, we're getting so many of these full art planes. They definitely want me to play more of those. Where are the swamps? Can't we get more swamps? All right. First rare, are we going to blow box 1 out of the water more? Applied Geometry. 2, a green and a blue for a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target non-aura permanent you control, except it's a 0/0 fractal creature. In addition to its other types, put 6 +1/+1 counters on it. Okay, so you get a creature. You get it's a copy, a clone effect. It's a clone effect that they become essentially a 6/6, but it works with fractals, so it works with Jadzi, it works for Primo, it works with Zimone, but you can get some stuff, you know, things that value power that don't necessarily have it. Again, first thing that I think of is like Vivi. You play this for 4 if you've got like a teamer deck and you've got a Vivi, and it's just like, okay, I make a copy of Vivi. It's legendary, so your old one has to die, but then it's like, okay, now I've got a copy of Vivi that's got 6 power and all of its other stuff onto it, so I'll use its ability to gain 6 more mana, and I've already paid for this. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, and we got one of our commander cards, this one here from the Witherbloom one. Gormo the Gullet, 1 a black and a green for a 1/1 legendary pest frog with lifelink. Whenever another creature you control dies, you put a +1/+1 on Gorma. Okay, and non-token creatures you control enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each creature that died under your control this turn. Okay, so a lot of sacrificing your own stuff to make your own things bigger. That's not, you know, that's a decent one there. We'll certainly take that. I don't think it's the most amazing one, but it is a way to build upon there. And okay, Tragedy Feaster. This is a nifty looking one here. I think we might have seen this one in its regular artwork, so new artwork, we'll absolutely take that. 2 double black for a 7/6 demon, so there's got to be some downside. Trample, ward, discard a card. That's a good one there. Infusion, beginning of your end step, sack a permanent unless you gain life this turn. Oh my, that's not much of a downside. Yeah, just gain a little bit of life and you get a 4 mana 7/6 trampler that they got to discard a card for you to... Okay, yeah, that's not much of a downside there. I'll certainly take that. Thank you very much. Mythical Archive card. Dismember. Okay, so that's another one for us. Nice little Phyrexian mana. Very similar to the Essence Scatter that we had in this one, where it's sort of segmented the body parts of the creature up like this. Very interesting. 1 and double black Phyrexian mana for an instant. That target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. Nice little removal spell. I'll absolutely take that. That's a nice extra one to get, especially since it's a new spell in our big card. Ooh, Colorstorm Stallion, unfortunate. Now that is not a good one there either. I already got this one, and I've already gotten this artwork in it, so unfortunately it's a bit of a dud for box 2 there, but box 1 really didn't have too much in here. I did like the things that it had in it better. Yeah, I think that the box 1 one was better, but both of them were kind of middling to not great there. 1 a blue and a red, 3/3, Elemental Horse, ward 1 in haste. Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, that gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and if 5 or more mana was spent to cast it, you create a token that's a copy of this creature there, which, you know, you can get more guys there, but again, it's that it doesn't keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger with your spell cast there. But, you know, we'll take it, you know, we'll have it in the collection, maybe move it along if we really need to, but box 1 beat out on this one. Box 2 is still in the lead by a fair margin, though. Okay. Box 1, and this is your chance there. You get something really big, really cool here. Honor-bound Page, 3 and a white. Cat Cleric, 3/3. First strike, enters prepared. Forum's favor, 1 white. Target creature gets +1/+0 and flying until end of turn. Okay. Cost of Brilliance again there. Draw 2, lose 2, 1/1 on something. Grapple with Death, destroy artifact or creature. You gain a life there, so, you know, get rid of one thing. Maybe this is the Tragedy Feaster that we saw. Terramorphic Expanse, another foil version of that. Get your basic land. Snooping Page, 1 white and black. 2/3 Human Cleric, repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, this creature can't be blocked, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you Phyrexian Arena, draw a card, and lose 1 life. Poisoner's Apprentice there, the removal on the stick that we'd seen. Molten Note, X and red-white for a sorcery. Deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it, and then you untap all creatures you control. So you have Mana Dorks, you know, you can untap all of your stuff, type of deal, or if they tap to deal some sort of effect, you can untap them there. You can also just pay this for red and white to untap all creatures that you control. That is a possibility for you, so depending on what you need for it. We got that, but just going back to it a second, you could also spend this on main phase 2 if you swing out with everything. So it's like your opponents are like, okay, well, he's going to be, you know, he's completely swung out, you know, divvy up as you want, and then you can be like, I untap everything, so now you've got defenders. Okay, so this is Son Bika. Now this is in, Zonbika. So this is the Zombify that we've seen. Did we see this artwork there? I can't quite remember. If not, it's good to add into the collection there. 3 and a black, sorcery, you put target, I don't know if it's in your graveyard. I think it's just a graveyard. It's in your graveyard. So you put 1 creature card in your graveyard onto the battlefield. Okay. So, you know, very basic one there, but we'll certainly take it, you know, Japanese artwork and whatnot there. And another Burst Lightning, we'd gotten this one before where we've got this monk that's just getting absolutely blasted with this lightning into his middle there. Honestly, pretty frightening card. And we have a island there. Nice little Prismari creation. We'll certainly take more of these. I really like the artwork for all of these lands. And first rare, Thank you, Box One. You really want to try to get back here. We got the last of the Emeritus. We have every single Emeritus there. This was the last one that we were lacking, and it's the crazy one that has the text on it, Ancestral Recall. And we finally got it. Thank you. This was so good. You're trying to take back. I understand it's probably a lot closer now, but we do have a Vampiric Tutor there. So I still think Box 2 is in the lead with what it has, but this is what we were looking for. It's exactly what we're looking for. I was like, I want an Emeritus. I want some of the Elder Dragons. Like, if I could get Mathemagics, that would be great there. Or more of the dragons. Emeritus of Ideation, 3 and double blue for a 5/5 human wizard with flying. Ward 2 enters prepared, and whenever this creature attacks, you may exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, it becomes prepared again. So you got to get a lot of cards in your graveyard to be able to exile for this effect. Or you just use a land that says pay 3 mana and tap it to prepare for Ancestral Recall. I mean, that essentially means that you're paying 5 mana to play Ancestral Recall, but, you know, it's still Ancestral Recall. 1 blue, instant, target player draws 3 cards. Oh my goodness, yeah, I would have preferred if it was the foil borderless version. I will take a foil version of this card, borderless or not. Oh, this is good. These were good packs. Yeah, we had a couple of stinkers, but ooh, good ones there. And we're also getting another one of our commanders from the commander decks here. Killian, Decisive Mentor, 1 a white and a black, 2/3, legendary human warlock. Whenever an enchantment you control ETBs, tap up to 1 target creature and goad it. Whenever 1 or more creatures that are enchanted by an aura you control attack, draw a card. Now, again, that Mardu card that I was talking about that do the enchantments. Now, its whole thing is like, you know, pay some mana, tap it, sack 1 of your enchantments on the field, and bring something back there. Then you get to goad the creatures as well if you've got Killian in it. I'm gonna put Killian in that deck when I make it. I know that what was it? I only remembered it because EDH Rec had put out a video that said like this was a card that came out and was underwhelming there. I really dig it there. I don't care if it's underwhelming. I want to make a deck with it because it looks so cool. And I'm going to put Killian into it because it works very well with it. Okay, next one up, a Pox Plague. So gotten 3 Pox Plagues there. It's one of our most common rares from these ones. I've got a couple of places where these can go, so I'm going to, even after putting them in decks, I definitely will have extras. You know, but the whole thing of everybody losing Afterlife, discarding half their cards, half of their permanents, you know, I dig it there. You know, we got so many Pox Plagues and the smallpox. What do we got? We got 3 Pox Plagues in this altogether, and I think I've got at least 2 other ones from the other boxes that we got. Okay, last chance to get something really, really cool in our Mythical Archive slot. Culling Ritual. Okay, so it's not a mythic, but it is a foil. Culling Ritual, 2, a black and a green. Sorcery, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. Okay, so each non-land permanent, but this kills every single token that's on the field. That's clues, artifacts. Your opponents have to use their treasures if they've got it, any creatures that they've got, any inexpensive creatures, any cheap commanders that are like 1 or 2 value. This gets rid of them as well, and you could potentially get a ton of mana for it. Yeah, I will absolutely take this one. That's a very nifty one there. Thank you very much. Definitely the other ones are precedent, and we've got our treasure. Okay, we got Flaming Bird. I am hoping Flaming Bird means that we've got something good as our final card. Please be something really cool. It'd be great if we got a second Emeritus of Ideation. We've had a few packs recently where we've doubled up in the same pack there, so could be something good, but honestly, we got another Killian, we got the last Emeritus we needed, and we got a new foil Mythical Archive card. We're pretty set there, but this could be cool too. Come back, box 1. Okay, we had this version of Delian Fell already, but I will certainly take another one and in foil. Planeswalker being not super fantastic, but its cost is really close to its ultimate. 2 a black and a green for a 5 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Delian. 2 loyalty up to gain 3 life. There's your life that you need each turn for all of your infusions. 0 for you draw a card and lose 1 life there. So a little bit of Phyrexian Arena. 3 down, you destroy target creature, so a removal that you can use immediately. And at -6, so that is 1 activation of your gain 2 life, and then on the next turn you can use it, where you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Very, very good. Again, it's got that effect there of like the Sanguine Bond or Exquisite Blood, whichever one it is, it's getting half of that. There's plenty of cards that will go off with it, so I will absolutely take another copy of Delian Fell there. but definitely we're keeping the Emeritus of Ideation on top because it was that good. So it could still come back if it's got like a soul ring in this, but we do have our last collector booster pack, and I'm hoping for something good in this one. Well, it didn't go all the way through. I didn't cut close enough there, but that also means that we didn't have any chance of cutting the cards. So rub for a little bit of good luck for our final pack here. Starting up with Terrafractal. Very nice. You know, pterodactyl, Terrafractal. That's a nice little pun here. X, green and blue. It is a 1/0. Very interesting there. I've never seen something with 0 toughness but power listed there. There may be other ones, but this is the first time that I've seen it. Flying, this enters with X+1/+1s on it, and when this ETBs, you gain 2 life. Very interesting, but I think Primo deals specifically with fractals or just creatures that have 0 power, so it actually does not do it. It could be 0 toughness. It's like, it might be 0 power or 0 toughness, but if it's specifically power, then unfortunately it doesn't make the cut. Imperious Inkmage, again, this was a decent one of the 3 mana 3/3 vigilance that you surveil 2 upon entry. Strife Scholar, a little bit too expensive for the Awaken the Ages there. Wander Off, 3 mana and a black, instant exile target creature. A little bit of removal there. Very, very interesting artwork though. I dig that. Summon Dromedary. I like my Spirit Camels there. You know, it's a 4 mana 4/3 with vigilance, but it can continuously come back to your hand as a sorcery there, so you can sacrifice this as a means of other spells or blocking or whatnot there, and then getting the Lorehold effect of the sorcery there, bringing it back. Archaic Agony there. This is going to be doing the damage based off of the different color mana. 4 and a red, sorcery, Converge. Deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of mana spent to cast it. Exile cards from the top of your library equal to the excess damage dealt to it, and you can play those cards until end of turn. So you deal damage to a creature based off of the colors. If you deal any excess, then you get to impulse draw for those. It's an expensive card, though. That's the only thing. So playing those extras is a bit difficult. But we got a foil fractal tender, which is nice because I dug this one of being able to create the 3/3 fractal every each end step if this gains a counter on it there. So again, I think that that's very, very nice in and of it there, and I got a blinged out version of it. Ooh, and this one here, I don't think that we've gotten this one before. So this is what? Okay, so quickly reading over this. So this is Sakuhaku, 1 and a red. And this is going to be a copy of a braid. So getting a blinged out version of a braid, I certainly will like that. Instant, choose one of the following. It says creature, like target 1 creature. This deals 3 damage to it. And then this one here is, choose target artifact and destroy it there. So we didn't have this one yet in this artwork. I will certainly take it. Nice blinged out version. I love Maya braids, so I'll certainly take more of those. And I believe that we had seen this one before as well. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it's not one that I'm going to be able to think of off the top of my head there. So it is going to be here, but I do believe that we had this version before. I believe, I can't remember what it is, but I believe what it is, it's a fight spell where you put no, it's not a fight spell, it's just a damage spell. It's put a +1/+1 on one of your creatures, and then you have it deal damage equal to its power to one of your opponent's creatures. Yeah, that's what it is. I can't remember what the card name is, but I do dig that one, and we got double Japanese in this one. That's nice. I was complaining about the swamps. They finally gave me the swamps. That's what we want to see. Thank you very much. Finally getting more of those. Okay, first rare is going to be a Steal the Show. Okay, so we got a double up on that one there, unfortunately. We still can use it, though. There's other ways that we can do it. But, discarding the cards, drawing that many, and then dealing the damage based off of your instant and sorceries there. Spellcaster deck, you're likely to have enough to be able to destroy whichever creature that you're trying to get rid of. And the commander card is going to be a Coercive Impetus. So, why did I put that upside down? But from one of the Killian decks cards in the deck, 2 and a black, enchantment aura, enchant creature, it gets +1/+1 and is goaded, and whenever it attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life, so you Phyrexian Arena on all of those ones there. Okay, that's fine. And we're also going to get a Molten Core Maestro. Can't remember this one, but I thought it was good. 1 in a red, 2/2, Goblin Bard with Menace. Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you put a +1/+1 on this. Again, that's the better version. Don't give us until end of turn. Give us the counter. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, add an amount of red mana equal to this creature's power. That is what I'm talking about. Make this creature big. Give us the extra mana on it there. You know, we can cast a couple of small cantrippy type of ones there. Make it 4... So if you cast 2 cantrips there, like 1 mana instant or sorceries, it puts this up to a 4/4. Then you cast your big expensive one of the 5 or more mana. You know, if it's the 5 mana spell, then the thing is, you put an extra +1/+1 on this, and then you add 5 red mana to your mana pool. So it's essentially made it free. That's why I like this one a lot. There. Okay. Last Mythical Archive card. Something good? Okay, it is something that we don't have. Or no, I think we do. I think this might be... No, I see Tenchi. This is Angel's Grace. Okay, we had gotten, I think, a foil version of Angel's Grace before. I can't remember exactly what it does, but I do remember Angel's Grace being a very good card. So we're getting the alternate version of that there, and that's fantastic. I can't remember if we'd gotten this one before, but I am digging it. If we already got it there, getting another good artwork, but because I thought oh no, it's just because that one also has the same effect of, like, on one side it's like the darkness and on the other side it's the light type of deal. But I don't think we've gotten this version before, so another new one there. We'll certainly take that. Oh, Bring to Light in the Japanese artwork there. We've got some sort of Leviathan out there. Okay, so now that we've gotten those ones all set there, is our last one here going to be something cool? I'm hoping so. Just don't be Zavai in the Tempest. Great Hall of the Biblioplex. Okay, I don't think that this is a very good land, but let's see. Land, tap to add 1 colorless. You can tap and pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. Okay, I mean, we've got other things that can do that better. 5 mana, if this isn't a creature, becomes a 2/4 wizard creature with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. It's still a land. Yes, I don't believe we got this one in any of the previous ones, so it's like, it's a new card, but as the, like, grand card in this, it's a bit lacking. Now, I do still think that even after the Emeritus and our Living End there, I think with Vampiric Tutor and 3 dragons there that were still in the lead here. Flashback was a good one in there, though, so we have finally our promo cards to hopefully see if maybe, just maybe, we can bring it back for box 1, because ultimately we have... No, the Soul Ring is going to be the big one to look after. You know, the talismans are also nice, but we shall see what we get. So the first one here is going to be Talisman of Hierarchy. Okay, so the Silverquill version of it. Very, very nice looking. They've got their wand, which is going to be a quill, and it's got the feather on the back there. Very, very cool looking. I will certainly take that. I mean, it's the first one we got. It's, you know, it's going to be guaranteed to be new, so it's good to get that one. And our other one is going to be, it would stink if you got the same promo, like if you duplicated in the same one, but I'm hoping that we can get, you know, 4 different ones. That would be nice. But this one is going to be Talisman of Conviction. Okay, so unfortunately, no Soul Ring for you, but you do have, white in common there, so they do mix with each other. You've got the Lorehold version of red and white for this one. Little, I don't know, maybe a vampire in the back there. Got a big scroll there for kind of the instruments for the Lorehold students. Okay, well, certainly take that one as well. Now, I think at this point we're guaranteed for box 2 to be better than box 1. And I think depending on what we get for these promos, it will determine how much better. Now, again, it'd be great if we got something other than these, even if they were 2 different talismans. Soul Ring would be the best, but even if we don't get it there, that's perfectly fine. I just would like some different promos if we could. So, drum rolls, hopefully get new promo. We've got, 4 different ones that we can get. Okay, Resilience. So, we've got some guy with tusks here, and this is going to be the black and the green one here. Got a vial of poison for us and a little bit of a caustic background that's spewing out from the potion there. So, okay, so that's good. That's good. We've got another one there. So we've got like a 50-50 chance on this last one to be something new. When we did the TMNT ones, unfortunately, we did get a duplicate in that one. I'm hoping that we can avoid that with this. Different talisman, Soul Ring, that's what we want. Come on, final. Box 2. Box 2, you did it. You did it. Congratulations. You definitely solidified yourself better. I mean, not quite as much as the past 2 did, but I would much rather have 2 that did very well and one that still kind of beat it out of the water than, one that was like beat it out of the water and then the other one was a little bit shaky, if anything. But one, fantastic that we got 4 different ones, but also great that we got the Soul Ring, which is the one that I think surpasses all the other ones in value. So being able to purchase all of the remaining 2 talismans that we did not get, the Quandrix one as well as the Prismari one, which interestingly enough are the 2 colors that I prefer most out of all of the schools, did not get, but I can be able to get those off on my own terms there and be able to complete out that collection, much like I was talking about with the TMNT ones. I can get the remaining 3 that I didn't get for that one and be able to finish it up. But fantastic to get that Soul Ring. Congratulations, Box 2. I'm fairly certain you won. Vampiric Tutor, Angel's Grace, Dismember, Soul Ring, Talisman of Resilience, Lorehold, Silverquill, Quandrix, and Gorma from the Commander decks. We've got some other ones in here. The Molten Core Maestro, I think, is really good. I like the Coercive Impetus enough there. Tragedy Feaster is nice. Applied Geometry, Grave Researcher, another Resonating Loot there. Maelstrom Artisan, I think, is decent with that land destruction. And we've got a new Abrade here. We got a couple of Japanese cards, but Duty Beyond Death was a new one there for us over here. And over here, we've got a little Talisman of Conviction and Hierarchy. We got the last of the Emerituses was what we want. We got another Delian Fell, but in foil this time, and a duplicate on the Emeritus of Truth. And we got another Killian, which we can use in a deck we have in mind. We have a Living End, a Big Score, Culling Ritual, and a Smallpox. And, foil, not foils, Japanese on the Burst Lightning. On the Zombify, we got a foil, Return the Favor there, doubling up on some of the other ones like the Bitter Triumph and the Disdainful Strokes there. But arguably, I think that this one lacked in the rare department there, where we did get Iganjo, Distorian, and the Flashback and Jodsy, but other things here I'm not thinking are quite as good, but it is good to get another Arc of Hunger, and I am looking forward to using Conciliator's Duelist there. But overall, I think I'm pretty happy with both of these. They gave some pretty good cards there, though Box 2 showing up, we see you there. So thanks for joining me on this, whether I named this some sort of detention or extracurricular activity, you'll see based off of the title, but I'll look forward to getting some more of these Secrets of Strixhaven packs in the future there, and I'll look forward to more openings in the future with the Secrets of Strixhaven Secret Lair going to be coming in soon, and then we also have the new Marvel Heroes, or whatever the pack is going to be called, coming out here shortly. So you can look forward to those fairly soon. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself. I'll look forward to having you on the next one. So I'll see you later.